Welcome back to my whiskey collection with me, Taff Williams. Today we're going to talk about the Mediera Penderyn, which is slightly different. It has gold in it. This was a collaboration between Penderyn Distillery and a company called Gold Nanotech, GNT, based out of Taiwan. This particular whiskey was launched in Taiwan on the 18th of October 2014. There was an initial batch of 10,000 bottles, and these bottles were exclusive to the Taiwanese and Chinese markets. The edible gold leaf used in this product is no ordinary gold leaf. GNT creates its gold flakes using physical vapor disposition, or a process called PVD. This process creates gold flakes with an exceptional purity and at only 30 nanometers thick, a quarter of the thickness of traditional gold leaf. So many of you might think, what does that do to the taste? Well, for tasting notes for the Penderyn, and it is just a Mediera Penderyn, it's a classic freshness with aromas of cream, toffee, rich fruit and raisins, with a palate of crisp and finely rounded, with a sweetness to balance an appetizing dryness. The finish is notes of tropical fruit, raisins and vanilla persist. The balance of an oaky vanilla tones and dry sweetness. No mention of the metallic of the gold in the tasting notes at all. As part of GNT's initiative for foreign brands, they've created something called GNT's Golden Alliance, which is an opportunity for foreign brands to tap into Taiwan and Chinese markets. Now, a lot of bottles with gold in aren't cleared for sale in the UK. I think people remember Goldschlager from back in the day. But these bottles were exclusive to the Taiwanese market. And most of GNT's products are exclusive products to those countries that they're in or to the markets that they're shared with that are covered underneath the agreement for the edible gold. UK is not one of them currently. So you may be thinking, how did I get hold of these bottles? Well, when I initially heard about these bottles, I did quite a bit of research into them. I wasn't aware that they were a Taiwanese exclusive bottle at the time. I then got in touch with GNT themselves and they put me in touch with a distributor, a gentleman named Taiwan Ted. Ted was really understanding in sort of my plight to try and get these bottles. He helped me quite considerably with the export and the import. He also Googled my address and realised that I was ordering bottles from halfway around the world when I lived a half hour away from the distillery itself and couldn't quite understand why that was the case. Obviously, later on, it transpired to Ted that they were a non-export bottle, but I'd already received the bottles at that point, to which he asked me to return them, and I graciously declined. So the question everyone asks is, what are they worth? And like I say, with any whiskey, they're only worth what someone's willing to pay. But I wouldn't part with these bottles for anything less than £1,000 per bottle, for a few simple reasons that there aren't many in the UK at all. The only ones I know of that are not in my possession are the ones in the distillery. And they are very exclusive. Although there's 10,000 bottles, that was 2014. It's over 10 years ago. It'd be interesting to see how many of those bottles have survived and how many have been drunk. And let's face it, it's a cracking looking bottle. That's where I think I'll end it tonight. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope it's been a little bit educational and introduced you to a bottle you didn't know existed. And I look forward to sharing some more of my whiskies with you in the near future.